Hey guys, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Clangin and Bangin with Mikey, episode 230. And today we're going to talk about, because all month long is Men's Mental Health Month, and I think it's extremely important. So I looked up some stats, um, and first things first, man, you ain't never alone, bruh. Um, you ain't never alone. If you're going through something, or if you feel like something's bothering you and you can't really put a pinpoint on it, and it's like, talk to them friends that actually give a shit. Talk to them friends that are actually gonna take it seriously. Talk to them friends that are actually gonna give you some real advice. Not some of y'all goofball motherfuckers that you just text every once in a while for shits and giggles, right? Nah, not them niggas. Um, so some of the warning signs, if a man's talking about suicide, and I believe the stat that I looked up is like suicide is the 11th causing rate of death in the United States per man. Like, they said something like men are almost 4 times more likely to attempt suicide than women are. And so some of the things that triggers us, um, a person who might be on edge or thinking about suicide is they're literally talking about killing themselves, or they're feeling hopeless, or they have no reason to live, like, which goes hand in hand with killing yourself and feeling hopeless. Being, feeling like they're a burden to others. And I tell this to people all the time, man. It's like, bro, I'd rather hear your problems a million times over. I'd rather help you come up with solutions, you know, a million times over than than me sitting in a pew listening to your eulogy. Nah, because you're gonna make a permanent solution to a temporary problem, and it's not worth it, bro. It's not. Feeling trapped and unbearable pain, and this doesn't have to talk about men. I'm just saying in general, because it's like we've all been around somebody who's been going through something traumatic, whatever it is, and they they end up talking like this. And some of the behaviors would be increased use of alcohol, drugs, you know, looking for ways to end their lives, suicide notes, everything like that too. Searching for online methods, withdrawing from activities, isolating from family and friends, sleeping too much or too little. That's a tall tale sign that something's going on. Um, Visiting or calling people to say goodbye. There's a there's a psychological term that people do when they're getting ready to commit suicide, is where they give away gifts. Like shoes, clothes, whatever. TVs, whatever it is. They're like, oh, well, I don't need it no more. And I remember being at a conference years ago, and the guy said exactly that. And he was like, like, I think his mother had went to go visit somebody or something like that, and the mom goes, oh, like, oh, so and so gave me this because they said that they didn't need it no more, and it was a pretty important thing. And then right after he said that, I said, this guy's like, he's gonna commit suicide. And literally, like 2 days after he gave away all his stuff, this person committed suicide. You know, I recently had somebody that I know, a friend of a friend of a friend. They had wrote a suicide note, and then they committed suicide. It was it was a it was an itinerary of stuff that they were gonna do, you know, and I look at that and I think, man, she's 20 years old. She's a baby. You know? She was literally a baby. Like, her life hasn't even started yet. You know? And, hold on, let me look this up because now I got myself curious. Well, I take it back. There is no psychological term. It it's just something that they do to get their affairs in order, right? Like for years, after after I would do a bodybuilding show or like I would or just take some time off, 'cause I train all the time, right? And my body gets beat up. So what I would do is I would take off a week or maybe 2 weeks after the shows, or after my prep is finished, I would take a week off or 2 weeks off and just chill. When I first started doing that, my mom thought something was wrong with me. I'm like, nah, mama, I'm cool. And it was like my body just beat up, right? And she's, oh, you know what? Like, you okay? I was like, man, I'm cool. I just need some take some time and just relax, which I did. But it was really important that people were checking up on me too. It's like when I did nationals last year, and I ended up taking off 2 weeks off in the gym. And when I came back, everybody asked me like, "Hey, were you okay? Like, like you just disappeared." I was like, "Yeah, I'm cool," because I was, I was just taking that time to, recalibrate and recharge and it's like all that stuff, right? And but yeah, Men's Mental Health Month, man. To get back to that, it's extremely important. Too often, us men are told like, oh, well, just suck it up, this and this and that, yada yada yada. Why you acting like a bitch? I mean, it's like, and the way I look at it, it's like, man, if you knew the type of trauma and triggers and emotional stresses that men go through, people wouldn't be so quick to dismiss us, right? And I think like that's the important thing, man. Especially when you're in relationships too, and I think that's important. I mean, relationships play a huge role, in how somebody conducts themselves, how somebody is, um, how they end up dealing with whatever they have going on, right? And it's huge. I've seen guys in relationships where they're dating the girl and the girl is like all bad news. I'm talking like she's emotionally, physically, or psychologically abusive, and it's pretty bad because the story that I'm about to tell. One of my good friends, uh, he was dating this girl, and in the beginning we all liked her, and because it was new, it was fresh, it was something that was we didn't know how fucking crazy this girl was. And it got to the point when he's telling us all this shit after, like, you know, after like a year or almost 2 years in, he's telling us all this shit that she's doing. And it got to the point where she was living with him and he packed all her shit and told her to get the fuck out of his house. You know? Because she was just, you know, accusing him of doing shit, accusing him of all this other wild shit. And it's like, mind you, we all grew up on the island, right? And so it's like, we all gonna run into people that we dated on or had crushes on, whatever it is. And I remember one of my boy's ex-girlfriends at the time. Actually, no, she wasn't even an ex-girlfriend. It was like, she was the ex-girlfriend of one of his friends, and he was friends with her. And like the girl was hella cool. The girl was fucking super nice, whatever it was, right? Like, every time that she would see us, be like, hey guys, what's up, how you doing? Oh, okay, cool, how you know, just chilling, you know, just doing our thing, whatever it is, right? And we were, you know, we were just out there living life, doing our thing. And like, the girl would be like, who is that girl? How do you know her? This and this and that. I was like, oh, like, and he'd be like, oh, boy, that's my boy's ex-girlfriend from like back in the day, you know, before we started college, right? That's how long ago this shit was. And it's like, it was crazy to me that this girl would be like, well, did anything happen between the two of you guys? Like, no. It was like we're just friends. It's like, you know, it's amazing to me how girls be like, well, did you sleep with that girl too? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, just because I know these bitches doesn't mean I sleep with every single one of them, which is kind of weird, but whatever, go off. And it got to the point where, like, it was like psychologically damaging, man. And it's like, after a while, all of us were telling him, like, bro, like this girl is crazy. Like, you need to get this bitch out your house, you know. And it didn't get to the point where his parents stepped in, and his parents are like, yo, this shit has gone too far, you know. You gonna end up catching the case behind this girl, you know. And I'm talking like there was a few times just like where we would be out somewhere, you know, in public, and this bitch would haul off. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but some of y'all women deserve to be called bitches. And this bitch hauled off and teed off on him, you know, like, I'm talking closed fists and everything, like, unprovoked at that. And we're all like, what the fuck, you know? And yeah, and it's just like beautiful girl, nice girl in the beginning, but towards the end we're like, nah, like, this shit don't work, you know? It's like your insecurities, your traumas, your triggers is way too much for niggas, right? And honestly, it is. And that would, like, I think a lot of times us men will put up with shit because we try to fix things, right? And we can't, you know? And it goes back to, you know, men's mental health month, man. It's like, everybody wants to talk about men's mental health month. Is not just about suicide, dog. It's about understanding the shit that people go through, the psychological traumas and dramas, you know, the emotional triggers, all that shit, you know. Stop thinking that it's like, oh, an end all be all, or that it's a like this can't really be happening, because you know, there is no way somebody who's, you know, smaller than you, you know, height wise, weight wise, can be such a psychologically damaging to you, right? Nah, it's not true. It's also really, really disheartening when women have a tendency to sit there and blame us, play victim in a role in a situation, and we're sitting there like, what do you mean? It's uh, like it's crazy to me how people will, especially women, they'll be like, oh yeah, babe, what's wrong with you? This and this and that, and you're like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired of this X, Y, and Z. I'm tired of the self doubt. I'm tired of of you accusing me of doing all this crazy shit and you have no proof. I'm tired of you, you know, putting all this shit on me. Making me take the blame for something that, again, there is no proof that I'm doing anything. And what's also disheartening to me is like when women tell you, "Oh yeah, bring you know, bring your problems and like we'll figure it out," and all this other shit, and you're like, "Yo," because a lot of the times men will be like, "I don't know how to bring, I don't know how to bring the problem to her when she is the problem. I don't know how to bring the problem to her when like I'm tired of arguing. I don't know how to bring the problem to her when it's really, really difficult to talk to her because she's gonna flip it. She's gonna play victim. And she's gonna do X, Y, and Z. And it's like, after a while, it's like men will just become quiet. You know, is a I ran across this video, and there was a husband and a wife, and they're at a barbecue. So the husband is talking to his friends or whatever it is, and like the wife says something, hey, you know what, like, don't believe him, he's lying, this and this and that. And it was something about how they met or whatever it was, right? And so the husband goes, oh, well, like, I guess I was good enough to get you this and this and that. And then she goes, oh, I only married you because I was tired of being a single mom. I needed somebody to take care of me and my son. Mind you, they have kids of their own, right? And at first, the husband thought that she was joking. And then she doubled down on that shit too. And that's when he was like, nah. So a couple of days goes by, and then he goes, yo, I want to get a divorce. And she's like, what? Why? He was like, yo, because of what you said a couple of days ago. And he's like, you said you don't love me, said you only married me because you tired of being a single mom. Is like, that's fucked up. And it is. It's extremely fucked up. And then like she tried to do X, Y, and Z, all of this other shit, and he was like, "No, I'm cool. There's no need to fix this." Because of what you said. Why be with somebody who doesn't love me, doesn't value me? Why? And dog, if if a woman was to come up and ask a room full of men, how come your last relationship didn't work out? Or how come you were in a relationship with somebody and y'all didn't get married? I will guarantee you, majority of men will tell you, and this goes back to men's mental health, health awareness, that we were belittled. The shit that we said in confidence to each other was used against us. We were made an option. And everything else in between, man. Like, because you cannot sit there and treat somebody like that, or treat somebody like they don't matter, until we figure, okay, like let me just remove myself. I got a saying that I use, right? Before I crash out, you know, I'm gonna remove myself. Cause why? Why sit there and be in a situation where I'm not valued, needed, or wanted, right? That's what your behavior is telling me. And I'm the type of person that I'll literally tell people, girlfriend, anybody I'm talking to, could not not to be not to be cocky or overconfident, but I am that nigga. It's like I know for a fact if we stop talking, you feel a certain way. I know for a fact we stop talking, you're gonna stop my social media pages for a minute. I know for a fact every time your phone ping, you gonna wish it was me. You know? The thing about me, bruh, is I look at patterns and behaviors, because patterns and behaviors never lie. People do. And I don't care, if it's, an important holiday, my birthday, the other person's birthday, Christmas, Thanksgiving. I don't care. Like if I see something that bothers me, and if it's a reoccurring issue, I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna express myself, because why sit there and let something slide? No, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why sit there and be, oh yeah, X, Y, and Z, yada yada yada, and I'm like, no. Like you're not gonna you're not gonna get away with this. Like this is something that's not gonna happen. Like you're not gonna sit there and have your way with this shit, because it's not gonna happen. I think a part of any healthy relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship, whether it's a friendship, or just in general, you have to have common ground where you are able to express yourself, in a safe way. And if you can't bring up the fact that what this other person is doing is bothersome to you, then why are you communicating with them? I'm the type of person that's like, I will sit there, and if somebody brings my behaviors to me, I'm like, yeah, 100%, that's on me, and I'll make the appropriate changes to fix it. But the thing about it too is, like, on the flip side is, like, you can't call out my behavior and then get upset when I do the same thing to you. You can't call out my behavior and then act like you don't have anything else to work on too. It's like, did you forget that my reaction was actually a reaction to your, to whatever you did? And like, I think that's the part of me that's really, really different from most guys, because it's like, I'll sit there and I'll talk about what the fuck is bothering me. I'll sit there and talk about X, Y, and Z, it's like, but then again too, it depends on who you talking to. A lot of these motherfuckers ain't built for this. It's like, everybody talk about, yeah, after you break up, man, let's go to the strip club. Let's, hop on Tinder, only way to get over somebody's get on top of somebody else. Yeah, for the moment that's cool, but if you don't recognize what your issues are, bro, you're gonna be doomed to repeat them shits. It's not as easy as hooking up with somebody, and yeah, in that moment it's great, but not everybody deserves your body, and this is a whole different subject from Men's Mental Health Month, but I'm just saying, because it's like, if you don't take time to actually process what's going on in your head, the anxiety, the depression, all these different emotions, if you don't take time to figure that shit out, then the fuck are you doing? You know? It's like my girl used to always tell me. She's like, she asked me once when about maybe 6 months after my brother died, she said, "Baby, I've seen you walk around with a mask on." She said, "Baby, when are you gonna drop that mask?" We were like, "What?" Yeah. She's like, "Sweetheart." I said, "Yeah." She's like, "I've seen you walk around handling shit that, and I'm talking from when my brother died to, funeral arrangements, the eulogies, all that shit, right? Like, I'm over handling pretty much everything. Everything my mom couldn't handle, I handled it. And I was like, "What, babe?" She's like, "Yeah, I seen you walk around with a mask on, baby." She's like, "When you gonna drop that mask?" I was like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah." She's like, "It's okay. It's okay to, you know, to feel the weight of your emotions, babe." She's like, "You just lost your best friend." And it's true. My brother was my best friend, and it's like, yeah, and it's still, and, it's still weird, not to hear his voice, now, not to engage in daily trash talk and get these off the wall fucking text messages from him, and not having daily conversations. It's weird, man, but it's like I'm getting through it because I have no choice, you know. And my last note I'm gonna say is like, men, not just black men, but men in general. I'm not saying that we all need to go to therapy. I'm not saying that the therapy's the answer, but we should at least give it an opportunity. Because like my girl told me, she's like, crying doesn't make you weak. It just allows you to release what you're holding in. And that's the same thing with therapy. Sometimes, man, therapy may not be the answer for you, but you never know until you try it. You never know until you actually find somebody who's worth it. And whether you can afford it or not, whatever it is, but if you can't afford it, that's fine. Go find you a support group. Go find you a group of friends that actually want to help you get through what you're going through. Because if this shit ain't right up here, none of this shit matters. This has got to be okay before everything else is okay. And like that's the caveat, man. Like that is so paramount to why Men's Mental Health Month is so crucial. Because a lot of the times, us men, we walk around with a invisible war going up in here. We walk around with all this shit in our head. Somebody tells us, "Oh, we fine." "Oh, hey man, you okay?" "Yeah, man, I'm good." Deep down inside, you fucking struggling. Deep down inside, you're like, "Yo, boom, 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 boom." And it's okay not to be okay. But what's not okay is you making a permanent decision for a temporary problem. Yo, it's okay not to be like, "Oh, I don't know what I'm feeling, but I'm feeling kind of off." It's okay to verbalize that. I don't know what I'm feeling, but I think this is X, Y, and Z's happening. I don't know how to confront. That's important to understand that what you're going through is okay. to understand what you're going through is it's simply something that it's not permanent, but it needs your attention. So go off and go give that the attention that it needs. And don't think for 1 second because you out there crying your eyes out or you out there asking for help that makes you weak. Nah, dog, that makes you stronger. So go ahead and be stronger, my G. You'll be alright. Alright, y'all. This is my 30 minutes of your life that y'all won't get back. Hope y'all keeping the 4-piece private player positive pushing. I'll see y'all next week Sunday. I love y'all. And like I always say, know your worth because you're better than what you are. But what I'm also going to say is, man, reach out to people that, you know, that want to help you through a rough time. Reach out to people that, you know, going to walk you through this. Because you don't have to do everything yourself. We don't have to do everything alone. And doing everything alone is also something that's also a trauma response too. Just because you think you can handle everything doesn't mean you have to. All right, y'all. I love y'all. Have a great Sunday. And I will see y'all next week on Father's Day. Peace. All right, y'all.